Hello and welcome everybody to my channel Omni Bio Entrance. Today we will be discussing the NEST 2013 question paper. I have solved only the biology section and I will be discussing only the biology section. This section contains 14 questions. The questions 2-1 to 2-10, only one of the four options are correct. A correct answer will earn 3 marks, a wrong answer will earn -1 mark, and an unattempted question will earn 0 marks. So coming to the first question. Which of the following occurs during osmosis? The movement of water from a concentrated solution to a dilute solution across a semi-permeable membrane. No. The movement of dissolved substance from a concentrated solution to a dilute solution across a semi-permeable membrane. No. The movement of water from dilute solution to a concentrated solution across a semi-permeable membrane. That is correct. Option D, the movement of solute from dilute solution across, it is not the movement of solute, it is the movement of water. So option C is. Next one. The umbilical artery carries blood from the fetus to the placenta, and the umbilical vein carries blood from the placenta to the fetus. Which is the correct statement regarding differences in blood composition between umbilical artery and vein? So it is told that the umbilical vein carries oxygenated, nutrient-rich blood. Okay, the umbilical vein, it carries oxygenated, nutrient-rich blood from the placenta to the fetus, and the umbilical artery carries deoxygenated, nutrient depleted blood from the fetus to the placenta, and umbilical arteries also carry fetal wastes. So what are the options they have given? Blood in the umbilical artery contains less glucose than blood in umbilical vein. That is correct. Our blood in the umbilical artery contains less carbon dioxide than blood in the umbilical vein. No. Blood in the umbilical artery contains more deoxygenated than blood in the umbilical vein. No. Blood in the umbilical artery contains less urea than blood in the umbilical vein. Wrong. So answer is option. Then next one. Antibiotics are routinely used for controlling bacterial infection, but are ineffective against most viral infections. Why? Viruses are too small to be affected by antibiotics. No. Viruses have mechanism to block the action of antibiotics. No. Antibiotics stimulate the immune system against bacteria but not viruses. That is also wrong. Viruses do not have an independent metabolism. That is more correct. They are always dependent on the host. The next one. Programmed cell death is a tightly regulated process that is important in the growth and development of plants. In plants, there are several tissues which become functional after undergoing programmed cell death. Which of the following cells or tissues represent functional corpuscles arising due to the programmed cell death in plant? Functional corpuscles means they are functional only after they are dead. So, cork cells in bark, sieve elements of phloem, companion cells of phloem, tracheary elements of xylem. Tracheary elements of xylem are dead, hollow cells with patterned cell wall comprising xylem vessels and tracheids, which function as conductive hollow tubes for water and nutrient transport throughout the plant body. Sieve elements of phloem are living. Similarly, companion cells of phloem are also living. Bark cells, that is cork cells in the bark, are non-living. So the answer is 1 and 4. That is option D. In phloem components, only phloem fibers are dead. Next one. With reference to the nervous system, pick the correct statement from the options given below. A ganglion is a collection of cell bodies. That's correct. A ganglion is a collection of axons. A nerve is a collection of cell bodies. A nerve is a collection of dendrites. So a ganglion is a collection of cell bodies. That is correct. Then, unlike animal cells, plant cells are characterized by the presence of a large central vacuole. The central vacuole performs a variety of functions during plant growth and development. One of these functions is similar to that performed by lysosomes in animal cells. Which of the following represent function of vacuoles in plant? So first one, storage of water and salts. Yes, vacuoles are involved in storage of water and salts in plants. Then cell expansion. For that also vacuoles are involved. Storage of metabolic waste products. Yes, they are also involved in storage of metabolic waste products in plants. Then degradation. So all four are correct. So answer is option C. 1, 2, 3 and next question. A short peptide has a sequence of amino acids valine, serine, methionine, proline, and the tRNAs used in its synthesis have the following corresponding anticodons. What is the sequence of DNA that encodes the peptide? So they have given the tRNA codons and I have written it like this. Now tRNA anticodons will correspond with the mRNA codons. So in 3', 5' direction you will get mRNA sequence as GUC, AGC, AUG, AAA. The mRNA sequence will correspond with the DNA coding sequence. Sorry, non-coding sequence. So CAG, TCG, TAC, TTT'. They have asked in the options in the 5', 3' direction. So 5', 3' will be TTT, CAT, GCT, GAC. So answer is option D. Next one. Any population comprises of 3 categories of individuals based on their ages: pre-reproductive, reproductive, and post-reproductive individuals. A certain population has the following numbers of individuals in each category. Reproductive individuals 3 million, post-reproductive individuals 0.5 million, pre-reproductive individuals 4.3 million. Such a population would be termed as expanding, declining, stable, aging. Populations with large proportion of young individuals, that is those in the pre-reproductive stage, for example, tend to grow rapidly because an increasing proportion of their individuals are reproductive. So it will be a expanding population. So answer is A. Next one. 2 different DNA samples were isolated from biological specimens. Further experiments demonstrated that one of these, X, was composed of 30% A, 30% G, 20% T and 20% C, but could not be cut by an exonuclease, the enzyme that cuts nucleotides from the ends of DNA. The second DNA sample Y could be cut by the endonuclease and was found to be composed of 30% A, 30% T, 20% G, 20% C. Which of the following statements can be correctly deduced from the above? DNA X has double-stranded linear structure. DNA X has a single-stranded circular structure. DNA Y has double-stranded circular structure. DNA Y has single-stranded linear structure. So they have given 2 DNA samples, X and Y. They have also given the composition of A, T, G, C in each of these DNA samples. For X, it is composed of 30% A, 30% G, 20% T and 20% C. So A is not equal to T in case of X. The G is not equal to C in case of X, but in case of Y, 30% A, 30% T, 20% G, 20% C. So Y will be mostly a double-stranded DNA molecule. And it is told that the Y is cut by an exonuclease. Exonuclease is an enzyme that cuts nucleotides from the ends of the DNA. Since it is cut by the exonuclease, Y will be double-stranded and linear structure. But they have not given regarding Y as double-stranded and linear structure. It is in option C, it is DNA Y has double-stranded circular structure, and option D, it is DNA Y has single-stranded linear structure. So option C and D are wrong. We will see in the case of X. X was composed of 30% A, 30% G, 20% T and 20% C. So A is not equal to T and G is not equal to C. So it will be either circular or linear stranded. Sorry, linear structure. But they have told that it cannot be cut by an exonuclease, that is an enzyme that cuts nucleotides from the ends of the DNA. So there are no free ends for this, so naturally it will be circular and single-stranded structure. So answer is option B, DNA X has single-stranded and circular structure. Now next one, increased application of peptides and insecticides have been shown to increase the occurrence of resistant varieties of pests and pathogens. What could be the probable reason for the rapid evolution of resistant varieties of insects? Mutation in the existing population of insects and pests. That may be correct, or that is correct. Preferential multiplication of resistant individuals. That is also correct. Rapid degradation of the insect or pesticide. No. Migration of insect and pests away from the sprayed areas. That is also not correct. So 1 and 2 are correct, and that is option B. So 1 and 2 are correct. Then next one. For questions 211 to 214, one or more than one of the four options may be correct. Your answer is regarded correct only if you choose all the correct options and no incorrect options. A correct answer will earn 5 marks, a wrong answer or an unattempted answer question will earn 0 marks. Okay. Neurons were kept in a physiological solution. During the resting phase, the membrane potential in the axoplasm of the neuron was negative compared to the extracellular space, and a potential difference of minus 70 millivolts was observed in this phase. Neurons were then treated with two different experiments with either gamma aminobutyric acid, that is GABA, an inhibitory neurotransmitter, or glutamate, an excitatory neurotransmitter, and the membrane potentials were recorded. Choose the correct statements. The resting membrane potential of minus 70 would not change with either GABA or glutamate treatment. That cannot be. One is inhibitory and the other is excitatory neurotransmitter. So there are going to be changes. Then the membrane potential would be even more negative than resting phase with GABA treatment. Yes, that is correct. Why? Because gamma is an inhibitory neurotransmitter and it will increase the membrane potential to more negative side. So B is correct. Then next one. The membrane potential would be positive when the neuron was exposed to glutamate. That is also correct. Why? Because glutamate is an excitatory neurotransmitter and it will cause depolarization of the membrane, so it will have positive charges. So C is also correct. The membrane potential would be more negative than resting potential after glutamate treatment. That is not correct because glutamate is an excitatory neurotransmitter and not an inhibitory neurotransmitter. So option B and C are. Next one. Agrobacterium mediated transformation is routinely used for the development of transgenic plants. In these experiments, a suitable plant part, that is explant, is incubated with agrobacterium cells containing the gene of interest, that is to be introduced into the plant. In addition, a selectable marker gene is also used to ensure growth of only the transformed cells on regeneration media containing the selection agent, for example, antibiotics such as kanamycin or hygromycin. Based on such strategies, 6 dependent transformation experiments of tobacco leaf explants were carried out using 2 different constructs. Construct 1 containing only hygromycin resistance gene and as a selection marker, and construct 2 with hygromycin resistance gene as a selection marker and a passenger gene coding dephosphorylase enzyme that inhibits phosphorylation in cells in which it is expressed. The marker as well as passenger genes were placed under transcriptional control of constitutive promoter CAMV35S, which expresses in all cells and tissues. The results obtained are tabulated below. Which of the following statements could represent probable explanation of the above result? So for agrobacterium mediated transformation, what you do is you will take the explant, incubate it with agrobacterium cells containing the TI plasmid carrying the gene of interest to be introduced into the plant. You will incubate it for a particular time period, then you will take it, wash it, then you will place it in the regeneration medium or the selection medium. This will have a selection agent, that is antibiotic or kanamycin or hygromycin. So along with the gene of interest, the selectable marker gene also will enter into the plant cell, and you can select for transformants by using either kanamycin or hygromycin. So based on this strategy, what they have done was they have transformed tobacco leaf explants using 2 different constructs. So construct 1 containing only hygromycin resistance gene as selection marker, and construct 2 with hygromycin resistant gene as selection marker and a passenger gene encoding a dephosphorylase enzyme that inhibits phosphorylation in cells when it is expressed. So the marker as well as this passenger gene, they were placed under the transcriptional control. You need a promoter for expression of these genes. So the promoter that they have used is CAMV35S. And what is the use of CAMV35S promoter is that it is a constitutive promoter and it will express in all cells and tissues. And they have tabulated the result. They have chosen 2 construct 1 and construct 2. One is CAMV35S hygromycin and other is CAMV35S DEP plus CAMV35S hygromycin resistance gene. And what they have obtained by using only the construct with hygromycin resistant genes under the control of the promoter CAMV35S, they have obtained this many transgenic plants from this many explants used. But when they used construct 2, that is CAMV35S dephosphorylase enzyme plus CAMV35S hygromycin resistance gene, they didn't obtain any of the transgenic plants. Now they are asking which of the following statements would represent probable explanation of the above result. Now why you got 0 here, why you got transgenic plants over here, that you have to tell from based on the options that they have given here. So option A, regeneration medium used for the selection marker in construct 2 was not optimized. That is wrong. Why? Because regeneration medium will not naturally be optimized before a transformation experiment is conducted. So that is wrong. The next one, expression of the DEP gene is lethal to the transformed cell. That can be one of the explanation. Why? Because DEP inhibits phosphorylation in the cells in which it is expressed. So some of the biosignaling pathways may not work. So chances are there that or cell division may not happen properly. So DEP, this dephosphorylase enzyme, inhibits phosphorylation of cells. So expression of the DEP gene is lethal to the transformed cells is correct. Degradation of hygromycin occurred in experiments with construct 2. That is not a proper explanation for the result obtained. The degradation of hygromycin will not occur like that when you are doing the experiment. Then next one, the hygromycin resistance gene used in construct 2 lost its functionality probably due to mutations either in the gene or in the promoter. This can happen. That the hygromycin gene used in construct 2 lost its functionality. When they have prepared the construct using CAMB35S DEP and CAMB35S hygromycin, chances are there that hygromycin must have lost its functionality due to certain mutations. So it can be either the mutation be in the gene for coding for hygromycin resistance or in the promoter. So that may be one of the reasons why you got all no transgenic plants at all when you use construct 2 for transforming experiments. Okay. So option B and D are correct. Next one. Secretin and cholecystokinin are two hormones acting on the pancreas. While hydrochloric acid from the stomach predominantly stimulates secretin, peptones are potent stimulators of CCK secretion. Fatty acids, however, stimulate release of both secretin as well as cholecystokinin. Secretin results in pancreatic secretion of bicarbonate ions, which helps to set the pH for optimal functioning of pancreatic digestive enzymes. Cholecystokinin stimulates secretion of pancreatic digestive enzyme. A graphical representation of the effects of HCl, fatty acid and peptones on the pancreas is shown below. Based on this data, which of the following statements is or are correct? So what they have told is secretin and cholecystokinin, they are two hormones acting on the pancreas. Now HCl will stimulate the release of secretin, which result in pancreatic secretion of bicarbonate ions. Similarly, peptones will stimulate secretion of cholecystokinin, which will secrete pancreatic digestive enzymes. Now there are fatty acids also. They stimulate both secretin and cholecystokinin. So when fatty acids stimulate secretin, it results in secretion of bicarbonate ions, and when fatty acids stimulate cholecystokinin, it will result in pancreatic digestive enzyme production. So based on the data that they have given here, that is the graph bar diagram, we have to see which of the following are correct. So first one, HCl would be required for optimal digestion of peptones. That is correct. Then next one, compared to HCl and fatty acids, peptones are less effective in stimulating release of secretin. What does secretin do? It causes pancreatic secretion of bicarbonate ions. So compared to HCl and fatty acids, peptones are less effective in stimulating secretion of secretin. So they have not given secretin or cholecystokinin here. They have told if by the action of HCl, they have drawn the graph with pancreatic secretion on the y-axis. That is, either sodium bicarbonate is produced or digestive enzymes are produced. So by treatment with HCl, we can see that there is more concentration of bicarbonate ions than compared to the digestive enzymes. So HCl will stimulate release of secretin, which result in pancreatic secretion of bicarbonate ions. Similarly, fatty acids will also cause stimulation of secretin to release pancreatic secretion of bicarbonate ions. So fatty acid also there is an increase in the bar graph of sodium bicarbonate secretion by pancreas. Then peptones, they don't stimulate secretion of secretin, but they stimulate the secretion of cholecystokinin, which will stimulate production of pancreatic digestive enzymes. So compared to HCl and fatty acid, peptones are less effective in stimulating release of secretin. That is correct. That is why you have got a smaller bar diagram for sodium bicarbonate with peptone when compared to fatty acid and HCl. So B is correct. Next one. Compared to HCl, fatty acids are less potent stimulators of sodium bicarbonate secretion. So compared to HCl, fatty acids are less potent stimulators of sodium bicarbonate secretion. That is also correct. From the graph you can see that when HCl was added, sodium bicarbonate concentration graph increased. Sodium bicarbonate secretion by the pancreas increased, and the bar graph is more taller than the one for fatty acids. So option C is correct. HCl and peptone are equally potent stimulators of digestive enzyme. No, HCl is not a potent stimulator. You can see from the graph here, whereas peptone is a potent stimulator of digestive enzyme. So A, B, C are correct. D is wrong. Next one. In order to improve local cattle breeds in India, male cattle were procured from Australia. All imported male cattle had white skin, that is genotype small b, small b. These were further bred with indigenous Indian female cattle having black skin. It was found that approximately 25% of cattle of the F1 generation died soon after birth due to heart defects. The heart defects were found to be associated with either of two lethal genes, that is either D or Z can be present to cause the lethal action of that particular gene, which cause this problem under recessive homozygous condition. So only if the genes D and Z are in recessive homozygous condition, they will cause lethal effects. The cattle that survived as well as those that died were black in color. Which statement correctly describes the genetic makeup of the parent cattle? I have given the explanation in the next. So for option A, when they had crossed this BBDDZZ with small b capital DZ, they got three gametes. So BDZ, and BDZ, and when they crossed it, they got black survived and black survived. That is, all the black cattle survived in option A. And they have mentioned that after F1 generation, 25% of them survived, and the one that survived and those that died were black in color. So here it is not there, none of the cattle were dead in case of option A. In case of option B, all the cattle that produced were died, but only they have told that in the question only 25% of them died. When we come to option C, these are the gametes and these are the offsprings produced as a result of the crossing. We can find that 3 offsprings, that is 1, 2 and 3 survived and they were black in color, and only 1 died. So out of 4, 1 is dead, that is 25% died, and the one that died is black in color, and those that survived are also black in color as per the question. So option C is correct. Whereas in the case of option D, 50% survived and 50% died. So option C is correct.